Alright, in this video I want to continue talking about the right to repair. In the last video I discussed that 4 reasons why we are not able to fix a motherboard. Maybe we are not able to find the chip. Maybe I'm looking to replace that chip, but I'm not able to find it because that chip was made specific to the manufacturer and they do not sell the part. Or maybe the chip was rebranded to the maker of this device and they do not tell you what that chip is. Or it could be because of serialization, where this component is serialized or it has some code that talks with other components on the board. So even if we are able to find the part, it's not going to work because the chip itself must be reprogrammed so it can communicate with other components on the board. And reason number 4 to why we may not be able to fix a board is not having access to schematics and board diagram. Not having schematics or board diagram means that we do not know how this board works, what connects to what voltage should be here, what voltage should be there, how the circuit works. We're not going to have all that information. All we can do is use our experience. Maybe we do physical inspection on the board to see if there are any burnt components, blown components, missing components. We can measure bypass capacitors to see if there is a short of any type. We can probably measure MOSFETs. We can measure filters. But beside that, we're not going to know how that board works without having schematics or board diagrams. Schematics shows you how the circuit is built and how the circuit works. And the board diagram shows you where the component is located on the board. And reason number 5 why a device may not be fixable, and I failed to mention that in the previous video, but it's not related to the right to repair, is let's say the board is liquid damage from a lot of areas, damage on a lot of areas on the board, then it's not practical or economical to fix a board. Or maybe the board has a CPU damage and we deem that as a no fix. Or we do not see light at the end of the tunnel when working on a board. We cannot figure out what the problem is and we deem that board a no fix. So these are the reasons why we may not be able to fix a board. Today I want to touch up on some of the comments that we received on that previous video that I did on the right to repair. Let me go over the comments quick. Today we received this comment from Mufid 6 hours ago. I replied to it and I pinned that comment because a lot of other comments that we have are similar and they are asking the same question. There are leaks of schematics and circuit diagrams for older MacBooks. Had anyone reverse engineered them? And the same user commented, has any company rebuilt a MacBook from the existing schematic and circuit diagrams of older models? I don't think so. I totally agree. And I never said that companies are afraid to release their schematics and board diagrams because they are afraid that somebody is going to copy them or reverse engineer them or create a similar product. That's absolutely not the case. Patents are there to protect the manufacturer or the maker, and releasing a schematic poses no risk that somebody is going to copy that device and make exactly the same device. I never said that. So I just wanted to be clear that releasing schematics and board diagrams poses no threats to that specific manufacturer. So why would a company or manufacturer not release their schematics and board diagrams? It can help with e-waste, so we do not just trash and throw out devices that cannot be fixed. It's good for the repair businesses. We can benefit from fixing that device for the customer. We get paid and the customer gets his device back. I mean, it's good from all angles. Why still manufacturers or makers of devices do not release schematics and board diagrams? Simple answer. Simple answer. If they want, they can. And if they do not want, they do not have to. It's their property. If I have 2 cars, I'm using only 1 car, and my neighbor comes to me and asks that he borrow that car. I have the choice to tell that person, yes, you can borrow that car, or I can tell him, no, you cannot borrow that car. And if my neighbor asks, you have 2 cars, why you do not want to lend me the other car? Because. Because what? Just because. I do not have to explain myself. I do not have to explain to him why I do not want to let him borrow my other car. It's my property. I have the choice to give it to him or not to give it to him. Manufacturers or device makers, they used to release schematics long time ago. You buy a TV, maybe they give you a schematic along with the TV. You buy a transistor radio, maybe they give you a schematic along with the transistor radio. But they're not doing it today. They used to do it and now they do not want to do it. You cannot force them to give you private property. I mean, people like Louis Rosman has been fighting the right to repair for several years now. I do not know how many years. What has he achieved? Awareness. And that's a good thing. He achieved awareness, but aside from awareness, he achieved 0. Nothing. Why? Why? The reason is we do not know our enemy. We are fighting the wrong battle. We are tackling right to repair from the wrong angle. I mentioned in the previous video, we should focus on being able to have access to parts. Right now, we are asking for parts. We are asking to be able to serialize. We are asking for schematics. We are asking for board diagrams. We are asking for genuine parts. I mean, why would a manufacturer give you genuine parts? Why? They want to set themselves apart from you. Why would they give you genuine parts? They tell you, go buy third-party parts and fix your own device. If you want genuine, you have to come to us and we'll put genuine parts for you. That's totally valid. That's totally valid, and everybody's going to side with the manufacturer as far as genuine parts go. So what about serialization? What can we do about that? It would be nice for components not to be serialized, but like I mentioned in the previous video, we do not live in a perfect world, and manufacturers or makers of devices are going to present 101 reasons why they cannot bypass serialization. They're going to present 101 reasons why serialization is important. They're going to tell you that serialization is important so other people do not hack into your device. They're going to tell you serialization is important because of security reasons. They're going to tell you serialization is important because we do not want people breaking into your fingerprint sensor. They're going to tell you serialization is important because we do not want people to be able to hack into your Face ID, so on and so forth. They're going to have 101 reasons to why serialization is important. Right now, we are demanding everything rather than present a solution that's beneficial for both parties. Okay, you want to serialize? Go ahead and serialize, but we want to be able to reserialize a chip should we need to replace that chip. If I change a fingerprint touch ID button on an iPhone, I put a new one, I want to be able to reserialize that button so it works with the phone. I should be able to do the same for Face ID. I should be able to do the same for an SSD chip that's on the motherboard where all the information reside. Motherboard goes bad, I want to transfer that chip to another motherboard. I cannot do it because the chip itself is serialized. I want to be able to have access to reprogram that chip. The manufacturer may tell you, okay, we're going to give you access, but you have to pay a monthly fee. That's okay. At least there's an option to do so. So we have to be able to share common grounds with the manufacturer if we want this right to repair bill to pass. Let's go back to the comments and maybe we can go over some of those comments and provide answers. Alexander wrote, that's what the patent is, to protect the board design. That's not a concern, and I never discussed that as being a concern. And then we have Antonio. A big question is solved long time ago with cars. You have third parties making parts for your car. The problem is not solved with cars. Try to get a part for Tesla. You're not going to be able to. You need to go to Tesla to get a part for Tesla. And third-party parts are available for laptops, for tablets, for phones, for devices. That's not a problem, but you cannot have access to all parts. Same thing with cars. You cannot have access to all parts. Ronald, I agree. Most of today's products are made to waste rather than made to last. I totally agree. If you have a 2009 Toshiba laptop, it's still running up till today. Try to go and buy a 2019, 2020 MacBook Air and it's going to fail on you the very next year. Every single day we get the 2020 MacBook Air. Dead. No power. I spoke about the overheating issue with those laptops and that confirms that there's a problem with the design. But what can you do? Board and circuit diagrams were available for almost all electronics in the past. I already discussed that. Manufacturers have the choice to share or not to share, and they're not obligated to tell you why they used to share and now they're not sharing. It's called the big ask. You ask for everything. That way you have some room to negotiate. Because in the previous video, I said that we are asking for everything and we should limit what we are asking for. We should ask for things that will pass and not for things that will not pass. So he said it's called the big ask. It may also lead to big deny. I totally agree. Just like if a customer came to our shop here, he want to fix a laptop. We tell him it's going to cost you $200. And the customer tells me, can you also clean my laptop from the inside while it's open? And also, if you can give me a cover for that laptop, I'm giving you the business. If you can give me a free cover. And if you can include a mouse pad and a mouse for that laptop, I'm going to tell him, here, take your laptop and do not come to our shop again. That's what I'm going to tell the customer. He's demanding all that stuff because we are fixing his laptop. We rather not deal with that customer. So big ask, big deny, I totally agree. Sharfaz, he always comments on our videos. Every bit of your word makes sense. A man speaks. If it's very important or just carry on with the job. Very amazing technician. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And here we have a comment from Micro Repairs Ltd. I think after a certain time frame, schematics should be made public. That's a good idea. That's a good idea, but good luck enforcing that. Any comment from Alpha Beats? What I really like about this is that he gives an honest viewpoint from both points of view. This is very rare these days. I mean, of course, like I said in the previous video, you have to be realistic. You have to think logical and make sense. In part 2, could you talk more about companies design their products to be less repairable, like new MacBooks and display cable incidents? I mean, display cable incident with the MacBook is an engineering fault. I do not know if that was done on purpose or not. The screen cable is too short on the MacBook. When you open the screen, close it, open, close it, the flex cable connects with the motherboard. What happens is the backlight part of the cable breaks and the screen goes black. And we get that in our shop every single day. A customer comes in, I did not do anything, and the screen is not powering on. It's because that flex cable that connects the screen to the motherboard is short, and over time, it's breaking. Is that an engineering fault? Is it done on purpose? I do not know. I do not know. I mean, right now, devices are getting smaller and smaller, thinner and thinner. I mean, I totally agree. Devices are becoming less repairable, but that's only because technology is improving. Instead of having 6, 7 different sections on the motherboard, now they have everything embedded into one chip, and that one chip does what used to be a lot of things on the board do. So it's true that devices are becoming less repairable, but that's because technology is improving. Hell yeah, buddy, preach. Thank you for your good work. Greetings from Germany. Thank you, Barack. Hi, Alex. Love your content. Rattan, there's an e-waste headache. This can only be eliminated by repairs and reuse. 100% agree. I 1000% agree with you. E-waste is a big part on why we should have the right to repair. And we have a comment by Fury here. 100% agree with the right to repair. Apple seems to think they still own the device even after they sell it to you. They would love you to scrap a $1,500 MacBook for a 2-cent capacitor. If they even offer the repair service themselves, I would give them an ounce of credit. But all they do is swap entire board for the cost of new device. Great watching your work. You are a credit to the repair industry. I could not have said this better. I mean, it's a sad world that we live in. Everything is about the money. It's a material world that we live in. They were able to create a vaccine for COVID within a couple of months, but they've been researching cancer for decades, and they still claim that they do not have a cure for cancer. I do not believe that. I really think there's a cure for cancer, but cancer is a multi-billion-dollar business. Why would they give you a cure if they can't make money out of selling you treatments, medicine, chemotherapy, radiation, doctors, hospitals, and everything else that follows? Why would they give you a cure? But that's, of course, just my opinion. And who knows? A lot of the comments are just repetition of what others said. People always like to repeat. I was working on a video yesterday, iPad Mini 4. And I just want to show you quick. I was working on changing that diode on the top. And somebody said that that coil looks burnt. There's a burn mark on that coil. That coil is supposed to look like that. It's not a burn mark. I've done thousands of iPads. I know that that coil is supposed to look like this. And then follows the comments. Everybody in the comments. That coil looks burnt. That coil looks burnt. That coil looks burnt. And comments went on and on and on and on and on and on. So I had to put the word burn as a block word. So anybody that comments with the burn word, it's not going to show up in the comments unless I approve that comment. 66 million comments about that coil is burned, and the coil is not burned. Some users talk out of lack of knowledge. They never seen a coil like this, so they assume that that coil is bad. I mean, at the end, what do I want? I want the same thing as you want. I want to be able to have access to schematics, to board diagrams. I want to be able to have access to parts. I want to be able to serialize and all that good stuff. If we can get rid of serialization as a whole, that's great. If we can get schematics and board diagrams without having to pay for them, that's awesome. But I'm just thinking out loud. I'm just being logical. I'm just being realistic in how I'm thinking. And I just hope that we're going to be able to get somewhere with what we are asking. Let me know what you think. Leave it down in the comments. And maybe, just maybe, we can have a part 3 of this video. if I feel like we have more content to discuss or more things to talk about. And that's it. I'll see you again in the next video.